Our intuition is it's faster, it's more convenient, therefore it's better. Like,
Yeah.
so we have that deep intuition. And so it doesn't matter how bad things get. People always seem to think, well, we just need an even more advanced technology. Like where does that intuition come from? And what are we missing when is there any way to like kind of sort of put a new intuition into our minds to help us evaluate these technologies that are coming at us? Could we just swallow them wholesale because it seems like, oh, it's a dishwasher. Everything makes
hmm
things faster and more convenient. Isn't that always better? How do we evaluate these things as they're coming online?
So, I mean, I'm glad you asked that question because that is this book. This entire book is bringing that question up of evaluating the impact of technology and advancement and all of these kinds of things. Let me jump back and then I want to jump into the answer to that. So you mentioned the Kickstarter. So what we're doing is we're doing a crowdfunding campaign to raise support to publish the book. But also we felt this was the right time for us as a ministry to begin publishing more resources on this topic. And so we're using this as an opportunity to start a publishing house with Gather and Grow.
Oh, no.
But to answer that question, I think there's a deep-seated mentality that's wrong, in my opinion, that all technology is morally neutral. I think that's a fundamentally flawed assumption. All technology came from somewhere. It came out of somebody's mind or some team of people's minds, and it has some motive behind it. Just to say that technology is a tool, you can use it for good or you can use it for bad, is a very naive way to approach technology. And I would say that's probably the first fundamental intuition that people have. Different authors have written quite eloquently on this. I mean, Wendell Berry, Neil Postman, Amusing Ourselves to Death. He talks about the entrance of television and what that's done to society. I mean, fundamentally changed the way that we communicate with each other as a society. And every one of these technologies is going to do something like that. So one of the things I think that's at the heart is we've been divided and conquered as a people. We used to make decisions as communities. We don't do that anymore. We make them as individuals. And without some kind of governing effect of a community, what kind of impact will bringing, say, a Walmart into a small town, what will that do to our town? For example, like those are conversations that a lot of small towns used to have. Hardly anyone has that conversation anymore. It's just kind of taken for granted. Well, Walmart's bigger, cheaper, faster, it's better. Therefore, it's better. Well, it's better if you measure one metric, which is the bank account or, cash flow or things like that. It's not necessarily better if you measure things like the relationships inside of a family or a social capital in a community of people depending on multiple different businesses and business owners and supporting each other for a way of life. If you measure things besides just the profit or the economics of it, actually, I wouldn't even say economics because really relationships need to be considered in the economy. If we burn out all of our relationships, we will not have an economy in which to transact business. There has to be a basic level of mutual trust. So it doesn't just reduce down to money. And I think that that's what has happened as we've begun to become more autonomous and individualized. Our consumer transition from a producer society to consumer society. We're looking on very surface level preferences, and everyone is marketed to on an individual level. So I think all of those things have culminated in what the intuition that you're describing today is that we don't live as communities. We don't live as groups. We don't see ourselves as part of a group. We see ourselves as me, myself, and I. And therefore, the quick calculation is the dollar at the bottom of the ledger.
So
And that's about all that we go for.